Welcome back to Chamber Exchange, the TV show. I want to thank our sponsors, Bank Hometown and St. Vincent Hospital. Bank Hometown, we just had CEO of Bank Hometown, Rob Morton, with us talking about a lot of the good stuff they're doing in the community on lots of fronts, especially in the holiday season. And pleased to have with us in this segment, John Peculis, founder and CEO of Maple Row Advisors, a new business. But John, you're not new to the community. You've been very involved in the chamber over the years, so your capacity working in the banks, and we'll get into that in a moment, but also as past president of the Worcester Economic Club. So someone who's been involved in lots of fronts.
Sure, yeah, I'm happy to be here. I'd like to thank the chamber for the opportunity, and looking forward to the conversation.
All right, so Maple Row Advisors, before we get into the business, you worked almost 30 years in the community, I think 20 in banking, and then 10 years doing appraisal. So yeah, maybe a little on your background.
Yeah, great. Thank you for the opportunity. So yeah, it's just almost 30 years now. It's hard to believe. Almost 20 of that was in banking, and about 10 of that, you're right, was in commercial valuation. So in the banking world, I was at several different institutions, community banks, some regional banks, right. And then there was a period of time there, about 10 years or so. I devoted my career to commercial real estate valuation. I grew up in a household. My dad was an appraiser, and I really appreciated that time in my career, and was able to purchase the appraisal firm that we worked at, and ran that for several years.
And so a viewer who might not like what an appraiser is, so both sure. When you're going to go buy a home, your residence, what's the value of the house? A realtor can help you with that, but also appraisers come out because the realtor might have their opinion, but the appraiser is hired by the bank to make sure the money they give you is actually, the house is worth what the money they give you. And then right. The appraiser also exists on the commercial side with commercial real estate, correct?
That's right. Yeah, doing the same job basically. The appraiser is that unaffiliated third party that's able to give you a view of what the home is worth in that position is very valuable to the bank or any lender who's lending on it, or any investors who are investing in it.
Yeah, and that's a really important point. There's banks, there's credit unions,
sure.
They lend money, but then there's investors, there's hard money lenders.
That's
those
right.
are individuals who have some money and they'll lend money out expecting a return. And
that's right. They
all want to make sure that, like you said, that third party, they're not lending on something that's not worth it.
Right. You got it.
Because if someone defaults, the lender has the ability to take back ownership through foreclosure.
That's right.
Got it.
You got it.
So the new business, having that experience in valuation and appraisals, and then lending and working with customers and businesses, and meeting their lending needs and financing needs, you've formed this new company, Maple Row Advisors, and maybe you can talk about what it does.
Sure. Yeah, I appreciate that. So over the summer, I was able to take some time to do something I've been looking to and hoping to do for quite a while, and that's take the experience that I've had in lending, the experience I've had in valuation, the experience I had running the Exchange Authority, which is a 1031 exchange company, and that's for tax saving strategies for real estate investors, and put it all together into a financial services firm that services commercial real estate investors and helps them to save time, money, or both. And we do that through commercial debt placement, so think mortgage brokerage. So we go to market so our investors and developers don't have to. We represent them in the lending marketplace, and we come back to them with competitive term sheets and get them the best rates and terms possible.
And so because you and your experience as a banker and appraiser, you have established relationships.
That's right.
With various lenders. So you can pick up, speed dial a whole bunch of bankers and lenders and say, hey, look, I've got a potential client who wants to buy something or take a mortgage, or and then you can kind of come back to that client and say, here are your best rates, here are the best terms, right?
Yeah, you got it. It's not always easy, and that's where some of our value comes in is finding a deal, finding financing terms and a way to get these deals done where a traditional bank may not
Right,
be
right.
interested in that kind of a deal. So we bring value there, and then like you just mentioned, on the other side, if it's a highly bankable loan, we're able to get the best deal possible for them.
But then also, if there's not banks, you have potential investors.
That's right.
Hard money lenders.
You got it. Yeah, runs the gamut. Private lending, hard money lending, as they call it, which is just another way to get a deal funded.
And there are people who do just that.
Oh,
right?
that's
so,
right.
So they may
many.
So they, banks, and credit unions probably a little bit more conservative, cautious.
Right.
Hard money lenders, investors, sometimes maybe a little less risk averse and willing to, for maybe higher rate, lend the money.
Definitely, almost always a higher rate, but they can be quicker. Their conditions are different. Their
flexible.
covenants are different. They are more flexible. But yes, that flexibility and that speed comes at a price, for sure. Yeah.
And then you, in your banking career, also kind of developed kind of an expertise on 1031 exchanges.
Yeah.
Now, you don't have to be necessarily just a real estate professional, somebody who owns lots of properties. I mean, 1031 exchange is something anybody who's selling property might want to think about, right?
That's right. So there is a way, if you're a homeowner, right? If that's been your personal residence, part of the tax code is devoted to allowing you to roll some of that profit, up $250,000 as an individual or $500,000 if you're married, without having to do an exchange. But if it's non-owner occupied real estate, if it's investment real estate, the only way to defer those capital gains, the most popular way to defer those capital gains is through a 1031 exchange. Yeah, and it can be very powerful. It can mean the difference of saving literally hundreds of thousands of dollars, having to write a check to the IRS for hundreds of thousands to pay capital gains and not. So
right. And just generally speaking, knowing there's some level of detail and analysis that goes into it, but you sell a piece of property, but then you've got to acquire a certain piece of property within a period of time?
Yeah, that's right. So, there's many rules around it, but the high level view is you have 45 days after closing on the sale of your what they call your relinquished property, the property you're selling. You have 45 days to identify the property or properties that you'd like to acquire in exchange, and then you have 180 days, 6 months, to actually close on that purchase. That's and there's other rules. Obviously, you have to reinvest all of the proceeds that come from the sale in order to defer all capital gains, and then there's other small details, but those are that's the general sense there.
Yeah. I mean, the public, it's an interesting program. I assume the public policy rationale behind that is just to kind of keep economic activity going, to incentivize someone to buy and own, and just kind of keep things activated, supply chains, et cetera.
That's right. And that's why whenever 1031s are threatened, and they are threatened from time to time depending on the administration, this is why they've stuck around, is because they've been proven to spur that level of reinvestment into the commercial real estate market.
Yeah. So this 1031 exchange as cost segregation study, what is that?
Cost segregation study is another way to defer taxes, basically. So it's a different form. It's through depreciation instead. You're able to. So let me put it to you this way. So when you own commercial real estate, one of the ways that you offset your income is by using depreciation. And the standard depreciation table for commercial real estate is over 39 years. So you get to defer the income off of whatever your net income is for that property at about 3% a year if you don't elect a cost segregation study. So about 3% a year of that property's value continues to depreciate and offset the income that you're making. With a cost segregation study, there are certain buckets that you can put certain parts of that commercial real estate into.
So there may be elements of the commercial property that may allow you in a certain year to take up 6 or 7% higher.
Or higher, right.
Okay.
And with the one big beautiful bill and bonus depreciation, you're actually able to speed up that process and take all of the eligible depreciation in year one. You don't have to use it all in year one, but you can harvest it all and then strategically deploy it over the years as you need it to offset
Right.
your net income.
Right.
So it can be very, very powerful. Very powerful.
So this is complicated stuff, a lot of moving parts. So what would you just, as we wrap up in the final minute, you're selling a piece of property, especially on the commercial, industrial side, or thinking to buy a piece of property. What's the value proposition to talk to Maple Row Advisors?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, we've got the experience in almost every facet of the commercial real estate transaction. We can be helpful as general consultants on not necessarily the buy-sell specifically, but certainly on valuation, certainly on positioning your portfolio, positioning a property or your properties long-term, and kind of deciding what your strategy is going to be. So that's the consulting side. And then on the debt placement side is very powerful. It's, put us to work for you to help you find the best possible deal on your financing. And if you're looking to save on taxes, and I don't know an investor that isn't, the cost segregation, 1031s, and other strategies can be very helpful as well.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
John Peculis, founder and CEO, Maple Row Advisors. Good guy and man involved in the community, both here in southern Worcester County. Good to see you, John.
Great.
Merry
Thanks,
Christmas to you and your family.
Merry Christmas to you.
All right, we're going to come right back for our final segment with Darnell Dunn, Director of Business Recruitment at your Worcester Regional Chamber of Commerce.
These days, you've got your hands full in life. That's why we help you bank simply and securely with tools like Face ID and Touch ID. It's why we make it easy to make purchases on the go and get cash back while you're at it. Why we help you quickly deposit checks wherever you are. And it's why we lend a hand with sending and receiving money right from your phone. So even when you're on the move, you can manage your finances. Bank Hometown. Unlock your potential.